With Bernie Sanders now by virtually every metric, the front runner in this thing, he is accordingly being attacked more and more. And those attacks are coming from people like James Carville, which we'll get to, but also, of course, Donald Trump. Here is Bernie responding to some of Trump's attacks against him.
Well, I think he's a communist. I mean, look, I think of communism when I think of Bernie. Now, you could say socialist, but didn't he get married in Moscow?
We got a president who is a pathological liar. He lies all the time. No, I did not get married in Moscow. I participated in creating a sister city program with the city of Yaroslavl when I was mayor of the city. We had Republicans with us, people, city officials. So that's a lie. And obviously, I am not a communist, and I presume the president knows the difference. Maybe he doesn't.
I would bet every dollar I had that he could not give a convincing definition of both separately.
Yes, he could.
Yeah, I think he could.
Putin has taught him. Putin, that's one he better not get wrong. Putin's like, all right, this question you better know.
We've been over this.
You'd think with his history in Moscow, he wouldn't bring it up.
Yeah, it seems odd to go.
I'm just saying, there are certain towns I've been to that if you ask, the best I'll do is admit I've been there. Won't say there was anything that happened. No one else was involved.
Yeah, it wasn't in a hotel room with sex workers doing their job that might have involved, we don't have to talk about urine. Did I say urine? I did.
Wasn't something R. Kelly would call a holiday weekend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're really fast on that. I don't necessarily want to get so into it, but it is odd to pivot from years of people are being too critical on Russia and its government. They work with us in some ways, strong leadership, gets lots done, like the obvious friendship between them, trying to sort of normalize that relationship for several years and then turn back to, he was there. And that is by itself, and obviously he was wrong about the facts, but that seems like a weird pivot. I have no doubt that a lot of Trump supporters will be able to do that. They follow his words.
Well, they'll have to change their Russia is our friend T-shirt. Don't they have those
Maybe double-sided?
What? Yes, they are double-sided for sure. Or what was that chant? What was the Unite the Right had a chant? I'm really striking out today, you guys. It's Monday.
Sorry, I don't know. I wasn't at that rally.
What's interesting about Trump and Bernie that I've always found fascinating is that Trump actually understands that centrist Democrats and the establishment Democrats, corporate Democrats, really hate Bernie Sanders. And he utilizes that, he plays on that to actually, I would say, pick off or try to pick off unsuccessfully some people on the left, or more specifically, try to sort of get the independent voters, get even the right wingers who might sort of like Bernie because they like his ideas. He's trying to, and he utilizes it, he does it so well. And now that Bernie is a front runner, he's pivoting to, okay, he's a communist, he's a socialist. Obviously, to me, I wish Bernie would just hit back a little harder on this. We're talking about a president who is he's just a walking corruption case. He runs his administration like a mafia. He's completely bludgeoned every Republican to fall in line with him politically. And he does go into the idea of socialism. And when it comes to Trump's version of socialism, which is corporate handouts, which is overinflating the military, that's taxpayer money too, So somehow we have tons of money when it comes to military, and we're totally broke when it comes to healthcare.
Yeah. We actually have a little bit more of Sanders where he gets into a bit of that, and he does go a little bit harder against Trump. So let's watch.
In many respects, we are a socialist society today. We have a huge budget, puts money into all areas. Now, Donald Trump, before he was president, as a private business person, he received $800 million in tax breaks and subsidies to build luxury housing in New York. Now, what does that mean when the government gives you $800 million in tax breaks and subsidies? The fossil fuel industry, whose product happens to be destroying our planet right now, receives tens and tens of billions of dollars in tax breaks and subsidies. So does the pharmaceutical industry. The difference between my socialism and Trump's socialism is I believe that government should help working families, not billionaires.
So
there
was
was
that in the
there
area you
was
want?
there
Okay.
he was.
Yeah.
There he was.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with you that they need to hit back harder.
Yeah.
And much harder. Now, this is still, I think the Democrats are still too gentle in a fight. This fight, and I think you give Trump too much credit to say he's aware of Bernie's standing with centrist Democrats, et cetera. He doesn't know. People tell him, but he doesn't know. And the other thing, John, when you talk about how he bounces around, like Bernie said, he's a pathological liar. There used to be a character that John Lovitz did on Saturday Night Live. It was called The Liar. And I can't do it any justice, but what he would do, he'd get caught in a lie and he would just keep going with, like, he'd find something you believe, and then so it's literally like Trump is like doing the character, like Bernie's a communist. Yeah, that's it. He got married in Moscow. Yeah, that's the ticket. And this is, again, if it wasn't real, it would be hilarious. He's making up the lies as he goes, right? Yeah. But you have an audience that's believing it, right? This goes back to Barack Obama not being an American, right? Yeah. That the most ridiculous thing. You're like, well, who's going to believe that? Apparently millions, Yeah. There's no subtlety to what Trump does. And I think the Democrats need to learn. I don't think the Democratic Party, the candidates, it's still like, it's all over the place. You know what I mean? When they say there's this super hatred of Bernie, it's like there's no candidate that everybody's getting behind at this point, So they're choosing to hate whoever the front runner is going to be, right? If the front runner this week is Biden, then bring this up about we hate Biden, and if it's Bernie, bring this up we hate Bernie, and blah blah blah. And I don't know how that's going to play out. But when you talk about the fight against Trump, this I love Michelle Obama, but when they go low, we go high. That ain't going to work. Nope. When they go low. Go low. Yeah. Go low. And that's the only thing, because unfortunately it seems to be what works.
Yeah. And with Trump, like the media does, like, at least somewhat recently, they like to fact check Trump. But I worry that in his attacks against Sanders, the zeal for it is not going to be there, because a lot of the media either believes the same sorts of lies about Sanders, or they find it convenient for them to be spread. As a tiny little example of that, in that clip that you saw where he says that Sanders got married in Moscow, I forget if it was Sanders or one of his surrogates, but they were on one of the cable news channels. And the way that was portrayed was Trump joked about him vacationing in Moscow. No, Trump did not joke about anything. He told a lie. He was corrected on the spot by Sean Hannity, a guy who came out looking like he had a connection to the truth. But the media, even that was spun in a way that still sort of made Trump look better than Sanders.
I think he had such a good response though, and I am so sorry that I said I wanted him to be stronger. I think he was really strong, and I think Alonzo's right that other Democrats and the media have to not actually be honest when we're having this discussion. What do you mean when you are saying, but you're a socialist, this country, we shouldn't be socialist. Like, you should define what you mean by that, because it shows that you're not actually listening to what Bernie Sanders is saying. He's never said that he wants to implement socialism in this country. He said he wants democratic socialist reforms, and he's not even really said that. He's just mostly focused on things like healthcare, on a Green New Deal. He's mostly talking about moving the Democratic Party back to being the party of FDR, of the working class, right? And I think this goes to our discussion about the budget. Absolutely, it matters and I think it's important for us to throw back in the faces of anyone who says this is socialism, that we do give billions and billions of dollars to the fossil fuel industry, to the pharmaceutical industry, to the private healthcare industry. That companies get tax breaks left and right to supposedly give us jobs. So that is absolutely matters when we're having this discussion. We should bring it up at every point in turn. The media should bring it up. That is, if we're gonna really have an honest conversation of socialism, let's have an honest conversation about where the money currently goes in our country.
Yeah. Well, the big problem with the media, there's a few big problems with the media, but it is another area where Trump's bullying techniques have worked masterfully. Because if you call him a liar, if you call him out on a lie, then you'll lose your White House credential. It's like, oh, well, you're not allowed to ask questions anymore because you pointed out an obvious lie he told, right? And the fact that the media is so owned by corporate companies now, and it is such a for-profit industry, you know what I mean? It's like, well, we don't want to offend the advertisers, you know, which is really bad when we get to the media level of that, right? But that is the big problem. It's such a simple thing, you know, to say, wait, that's not true. Like you. I don't know about you. I watch these news conferences. I want somebody to be like, hey, excuse me, yeah, that's not true. What you just said, you just made that up, you know. But they can't do it because they'll lose their credential or they'll lose their turn asking questions, right? And their bosses at whatever network they're from are like, you can't do that. You can't blow our access to these
to the lies.
White House
We're getting
conference or
exclusive
whatever you want
access to lies.
Yeah,
here.
it is increasingly difficult for the American public to get any sort of truth.
Yeah,
and that's what's and again, we're in a situation here. And the viewers of TYT are people who are engaged and who are involved. But that unfortunately is not the majority of America. The majority of America might turn on the evening news for a little while or something like that and just unfortunately don't get informed.
Don't miss your chance to win a trip to Los Angeles and have dinner with Cenk, John, and me. Just head to tyt.com/dinnerinla to register to win. Sign up for a free Aspirations Spend and Save account. Then you just register your eligibility and swipe your Aspiration card daily on purchases to gain entries. Not only are you entering to win a trip to Los Angeles and dinner with TYT hosts, you're also not depositing your hard-earned money into fossil fuel exploration or production. As a friendly reminder, even if you already have an Aspiration account, you must still register for eligibility into the sweepstakes.